Okay, a few months ago, our friends at Canon told us they had something they really wanted us to see. And, well, since we sell their projectors, I thought to myself, yay, another projector. Okay, but then this beast showed up. And, well, I may have cried a little bit. See, Canon has over 80 years of experience in optics and image capture, and that experience shows in their latest innovation, the CRN 500. And now that we've used it here in the studio, well, let's just say I'm blown away. So let's put this marvelous piece of glass and steel on the bench and see what's hiding inside. Okay, here's the real deal. I really wanted to be filming this episode with the camera, all while having it in front of me. But they only sent us one. Okay, so let's do a little movie magic here. Perfect. Now let's talk specs. First off, this camera has a 1-inch 4K CMOS sensor, and as of right now, there's only 5 PTZ cameras on the market that have a 1-inch sensor, so it's a bit of a rarity. Next up, though, is a 15x optical zoom. Let's just showcase what that kind of looks like. So we've got R2-D2 sitting out here in the conference room, and we're just going to do a nice medium push here into R2. We're getting ever closer. Actually, let's just speed that up for sake of, there it is. Hello, R2. So nice and close there on the zoom. Okay, now let's talk something else that's kind of rare, which is 3 built-in neutral density filters. Let's go ahead and flip through those bad boys so you can see. Now, the nice part about neutral density filters is you know they're on because you see them turn. These are actual filters, pieces of glass. There we go. All right, we're going to bring those back off. To be perfectly frank, it's not something you see in a lot of PTZ cameras, right? So you can really control the density of your neutrality there. Now, in terms of other lens specs, we've got a 2.8 to 4.5 aperture. Now, this is enough for a really creamy bokeh. So let's have a little fun here. As we see R2 right there, I'm just going to go ahead and play with the focus a little bit, and now we can get a nice sharp focus behind him, or we can bring it in and get a nice sharp focus in the foreground here. A little hard to sometimes with it, especially when you're in tight like this. It's a little tough to do, but you can see we get that really lovely, soft background there. So for the glamour shots, for the more filmic look, this is a PTZ camera that will actually give you that. Again, somewhat of a rarity in PTZ cameras. Okay, now in terms of bigger things here, we've got a 73-degree field of horizontal view. So let's just jump back here. We can see how wide we can get in the room. Also 45 is vertical, so we get nice and tall. So you've got lots of headroom here to play with within this camera. But something that's even more exciting to me is if we flip this camera around and we look at the back, dual XLRs with Phantom. Okay, so typically in PTZ cameras, we do get an audio input, but we rarely get an XLR, and I rarely ever see phantom power. So now in terms of workflow, let's take a break right here for a second. Let's say you want to do a shot that's in another part of the building. Typically we take a camera, plus we take a soundboard and our microphone. But in this particular instance, you can skip the soundboard, plug your microphone in, fire up phantom power, and you're producing from anywhere in the building and embedding embedding is the word I'm searching for there, the microphone into the camera stream. Pretty awesome. Which brings us to the next point, which is 3 gig SDI and 4K HDMI. That's our output side. But one more thing I may have failed to mention early on. This is Canon's first camera with NDI built into the box. So as you remember, I said, take your camera downstream, plug a microphone into it, and now we get that audio feed built into the NDI stream, and we're going to be able to have that straight into our production switcher. In fact, we're NDI right now. Okay, here are the things that we thought were the most amazing. So look at the razor sharp fast focusing on near and far subjects. So I'm going to jump to an outdoor shot with autofocus turned off for a moment. So let's jump out the window, and we're going to grab a weather vane. And I mean, right away, you can see how quickly this grabbed focus and caught that weather vane. I mean, it was just almost instantaneous. So we really love this ultra fast focus. awesome, and I mean really awesome, low light performance and amazing color rendering. I mean, this is a beautiful camera. We found even more amazing features in the Canon web UI. So let's support raw image modes and all the image controls someone who's used a cinema camera or Canon DSLR would be looking for. This is extremely rare for a PTZ camera. What's even crazier, it's priced lower than any 1-inch sensor PTZ camera out there. This is what happens when Canon takes years of experience and brings it to a PTZ camera. If you're wondering if Canon has a dedicated controller for this camera, the answer is, well, yes, of course they do. It's what I've been using the whole time to control the camera itself. It's a very responsive, easy to use touchscreen controller. Tweaking the camera orientation is very simple and it lets you tap into one of my favorite features really easy. And this feature is called Trace. Now this and most other PTZ cameras have positional presets, meaning I push a button in the UI or on the controller and that moves my camera to exactly where I want it to be. Trace though allows you to record a complex camera movement and then allow you to replay it via preset. So if I want to record a slow pan and zoom, I can record that movement, then move the camera somewhere else, then recall that movement like I recorded it whenever I want to, kind of like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare a trace here. So the camera's gonna move into a starting point, and then when we execute this trace, we're actually performing a complex recall, where we're not just saying, hey, I want, from point A to point B, but what is the zoom, what is the focus? We're recording all the camera settings at once and keeping those so that we can repeat them as many times as I want. And it's actually something you do manually. When you record the trace, you manually move the camera, you manually control it, and then of course it follows that movement so you can repeat it over and over and over again. Think of like the opening of an event or a show where you want to do an audience pan that ends in the same position every time. And, different camera operators might not be able to hit their mark the same every time, but with this specific mode called Trace, you can execute that same camera movement every single time. It really sets this camera apart from the others. Canon's standard components and robust feature set aimed at cinematographers make the CRN 500 the ultimate choice in PTZ cameras. Houses of worship, theater companies, sports venues, concert venues could all benefit from the raw power and high image quality. Camera operators and content creators looking for PTZ functionality with the same quality they've come to expect from Canon? Look no further than the Canon CRN 500. And did we mention it has NDI? Yeah, we think you're going to want one of these, but not this one. I don't think I can part with it at this point. But if you want your own CRN 500, contact us at Exertis Broadcast. We'd be happy to help.